responsibility. I tell you, I think everybody in their life needs to know what it's like to have to pay a payroll, to have people that are looking to you to provide their paycheck, because it's humbling. It's humbling. You know, you think it's an area issue, maybe would make you proud, but no, it really actually humbles your heart, because, man, these people have worked so hard, and you want to make sure that they get treated fairly.
And you use a payroll company.
Yeah, so, I mean, we, my dad, this was my dad's idea, and it was a brilliant idea. We use what they call a PEO service. Years ago, like in the 90s, when my dad had a few employees, before this company, he had a few employees, he got in trouble with the IRS for not paying the matching payroll taxes and some of that stuff. And so he had to kind of settle up with them and made payments for a long time, and just ignorance, really didn't really know much about that stuff. So he said, man, because our business is 90% of our expense is payroll. It's a service. So, he said, we need to use a payroll company. So I started looking into it in this thing called PEO, which is Professional Employer Organization. And what they do is I send them all the information about these employees, all the, obviously the applications, everything else. They set up all the employees as their employees. And so I send them the numbers of hours and payroll, pay rates and all that stuff. And then they send me a list that this is how much all these people are going to get paid, and you're going to pay us this amount. So I pay them, the gross amounts plus matching taxes plus workers' comp. We run through them as well. You don't have to do that, but you can, and we do, because it's just a better deal. Run the workers' comp through it, and then, of course, their fee, their admin fee, which is minuscule. I mean, you've got in them an accountant, a human resource department, a work comp department.
Taxes, they're covering Social Security.
If you get a letter, they're handling all the taxes. If you get a letter from your employee that says that child support's due has come out of their check, send it to them. They handle that. If somebody goes to the unemployment office, if you have to lay them off or fire them, they'll go fight that. They'll deal with that. All you have to do is just turn in paperwork to them. And so we started using these companies, and we've gone through about 3 or 4 over the span of 10 years and been with this last one for the longest period of time. But they just draft the money out when paychecks are due. All in one.
You don't have to pay them in advance?
So what we do is, let's say we pay our people twice a month. We pay them on the 5th and the 20th. So let's say I turn in all the payroll on the 1st, and then they'll draft the money out on the 2nd, and then the checks will show up on the 3rd. So essentially, they'll draft the money out the day before the checks show up in our, in the mail to us. And then a lot of people are on direct deposits. The employees get it right away. But it's wonderful. Now, we went through a short period of time when we were between PEO companies where for a month I did payroll myself. Man, I had so many letters from the IRS to send this and to send that. It was little stuff like you owe this money here and that money there. And I even got letters years later thinking that we had not been paying all that time because we paid them for a month and then just stopped. And so I had to go back and show them proof and fill out years worth of paperwork with zeros on it. And after I explained it to them, I would just rather stay out of dealing with the government and the taxes and all that stuff. It's worth paying that little bit extra money to let the experts know how to handle that.
Well, now in the company that you're in now, you have your own in-house payroll department?
No. We do the same thing, and we use the same company because that company is a great company. I'll say, they're CertaPay. And we've been using CertaPay with my dad's business since about 2014. And we started using CertaPay over here at Elite a couple of years ago.
So you brought that in?
I brought that in. We were using another company, the same principle, but there was some issues with that other company. And
because, from a standpoint of when you have 50 employees, I mean, basically it is a full-time job for somebody to fill out, do all that information.
Oh, yes.
And if you're paying them, that person, you then are now on salary, so you have to pay them. So, it could be $35,000 to $50,000 you're paying them for one person.
Because one thing that people don't think about is, say I hire you and I pay you $50,000. It is not costing me $50,000. It's costing me $65,000, $70,000 because it's the employer.